Showtime! The Capital G show starts right now.
What's up YouTube, Capital G here, doing a market watch type video talking about cards that you should consider picking up if you're going to be playing the game competitively for the foreseeable future. I did a video very similar to this maybe about 6 weeks ago. I got a lot of positive reactions, so I figured I'd kind of double down. I not only took into consideration what we have in the meta now, but then new challengers, as that's going to be legal this coming Friday, and then we have Heroes and Nicklovs coming out right around the corner. So we've got kind of a lot of things to consider when I'm discussing these cards. Okay, so the first two I want to talk about, and I'm going to kind of lump them together because they're very similar, is Shared Ride and Mistake. Both of these were originally secret rare. They came out a little while ago, but they've both recently been reprinted in the Mega Tens 2014, and they're only going for about $3.15. I think that both cards are very solid, and I think that they're going to continue to be really good in future metas. I think Mistake more so right now because it's excellent against just like your main searching cards. If you're playing against Sertelanites or Kleeports, it can shut down Scout, it can shut down the Neb, and that gives you a huge advantage as it slows down those decks. In addition, those decks will also play cards to search out there, two searching cards, so they both play Rhoda and like Summoner's Art to make sure they get to the Neb and Scout consistently, like turn one preferably. And then against against Kleeports, you've also got a card like Sacrifice, which it also can shut down the second effect to let you add. It can shut down Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon. So against Kleeports, it just really does a number. As for Shared Ride, this is a card that's going to be really big when Nicklovs come out. A lot of people in the OCG are main decking this card in like twos for the Niklov mirror match. And basically, when you look at Niklov as a deck, because of Brio and because of Preparation of Rites, this deck can sometimes search like 3 times in a turn. They can just be searching for monsters, and this is essentially a way to play like it's kind of like a max C. Basically, every time they search, you get a draw. So I mean, either they're going to basically blow through their deck and get all the pieces they need, or they're just going to get that one search, and you're basically going to be like, all right, well, you can keep searching if you want. I'm just going to draw a billion cards to counter whatever the hell you do. And this is mainly for like mirror matches, or if your deck heavily relies on searching. Like if you're playing S-Knights and you happen to play against Nicklovs, obviously siding in Mistake is not a viable option. I mean, you can't turn off your Rhodas and your Denebs, so you need something that you can counter their searching with, but won't shut you down as well. Next card, I might have talked about this one before, but it is Mask of Restrict, ultra rare. I had been talking about this one a long time ago, like 4 months ago. I thought that this had the potential of going up, and this was before I even knew about Nicklovs. This was just when I thought that it was going to be a decent option as far as side decking against Kleeports. And now you can pretty much have multiple decks that this is going to be good for. It's obvious what it does against Nicklovs. I mean, they're a ritual deck, and I mean, ritual summons require sacrificing. They require tributes. If you look at the Exo Mirror cards, they say tribute right on the card. So basically, if you have Mask of Restrict up, your opponent can't ritual summon. Well, have fun trying to beat me without ritual summoning when that's pretty much what your deck does. Against Kleeports, not only do you not have to worry about towers hitting the field, but Disc is a card that, when he's tribute summoned, he basically opens the floodgates and just wrecks you, so you don't have to worry about him. And then, a lot of the Kleeports have like these little funny effects that activate when they're tributed. They get to bounce monsters and blow up speller traps. You don't want any of that nonsense. So it can basically just shut all of that down. And then even against Heroes, it stops the mass change card. So, that's basically a way for you to basically say, no, you're not going to summon Dark Law this game. So I think that it could actually warrant some potential. It could be potentially decent in that matchup as well. Next up is Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon. This card is only going for about $23, and I am still surprised that it's not more expensive, because the market price of Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon has pretty much been all over the place. I looked this up on TCG Player, and as of October 1st, which is basically a month ago, this card was $38. I don't know where that sudden hype came from. I thought maybe it was for Kleeports and people trying to prepare for that, but now the card's back to like just, you know, a little over 20, so I don't really know what to think. All I know is it basically shows us that this card has the potential to be a $40 card. So if you can pick it up for a little over half the price, I mean, you could easily flip this for, you know, 40 to 50% profit. I just see this as a card where if pendulums are going to take off, this could be one of the integral pieces, whether it's Kleeports or DDDs, or I think Infernoids might have a little bit of pendulum in them. But the point is, this is going to be an important card to the pendulum mechanic. So the price should go up, even if just to like 30 bucks. And then the last two cards I want to talk about, and again, we're going to lump them together because they're played in the same deck. Satellarknight Deneb and Sertella Nova Alpha. So Deneb is currently about 20 bucks, and Nova Alpha, sorry, is about $10. And these are basically back to the prices pre-ARG Rhode Island, where, I mean, the deck just, it ran through the event. The prices skyrocketed. You know, Deneb was basically a $40 card. Sometimes it was like $45, and Alpha Nova was almost $20. And I mean, at the current prices, dare I say that S-Knights are a very budget-friendly deck right now. And it has been shown that the deck can consistently top regionals and YCS events. In fact, YCS London was just like a couple of days ago, something like that, like within a week. And S-Knights, I know they took top 8 because I seen a video on Duelist Grounds. They may have taken another spot in top 8, but I know they did top 8 that event. And I think that this is pretty much the cheapest that the cards are going to be. You know, the deck is fairly cheap. I think that Trevor gives the deck, it gives it what it really needed. It needed a way to consistently answer like big ass fields with, you know, like if your opponent had like Construct and maybe like another monster, it was hard for S-Knights to deal with that. You know, like if you made Deltaros, it didn't really do anything because if you pop Construct, they would basically just get their fusion back. And I feel like Trevor gives them just another utility card that they desperately needed. Also, picking cards out of your opponent's hand, really, really good. So I feel like unless S-Knights just fall off the end of the earth, like maybe Kleeports are going to be the deck that just moves in there and S-Knights will never be heard from again. But as long as S-Knights can stay, maybe not tier 1, but like tier 1.5, I mean, they seem like a very good value right now. I mean, 60 bucks for 3 Denebs, $90 for 3 Denebs and Alpha Novas, and, you know, Deltaros and Trevor really aren't that expensive. You could basically be looking at picking up the entire deck minus vanities for, I don't know, like 120-ish, something like that. So anyways, these are my picks. Let me know if you guys have any other cards that we should be looking out for, cards that are going to be really good in the future. Leave that in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching as always. Subscribing makes life happy.